Hey guys, Alex Khan here, big time Disney fan. But I'm going to review the live action 2020 Mulan movie made by Disney. And yeah, I woke up at like 2:45 Eastern Standard Time to prepare myself to watch this movie. The movie didn't drop on Disney Plus until 3:01 Eastern Standard Time. So I knew that. I got up and I got psyched because I've been waiting years to watch this live action adaptation of this legend, which a lot of you guys only know this movie from the 1998 Disney animated feature. I don't blame you for that, but the legend does go back a lot longer than that. So when they announced that there are going to be a lot of changes from the animated feature, I was game for that because I know this story is very old and different iterations of this story could be told. But before I begin, I want to show off my Mulan hoodie, which I got from Hot Topic. So it's very cool looking. Unfortunately, I live in Florida, so I don't have many opportunities to wear this outside of the house. So I'm going to wear it for the video. That's right, I broke out all the pageantry for you guys. But yeah, it's got Mulan written all over it. So very happy with this hoodie. Anyways, guys, the review. Gosh, where to start? Really fast. I'm very disappointed in this live action movie. I want to talk about the negative things first, then I'll talk about the positive things, and then I'll wrap up my review. I want to give you my review without giving you any spoilers. So the things I did not like about this movie, well, here's something that I can point out that you guys might not like as if you have a family. So if you are going to bring kids to watch this movie, just know that the kids might not enjoy this movie as much because the pacing of this movie is a lot slower than your typical Disney movie. So it's a slower build. Also, you need to know this, it's a lot more serious. The tone of this movie is very serious. So Disney fans might not be ready for that. So it might confuse some of you guys. Just know that this is basically a war movie. It's a war movie, coming of age, fantasy type movie, but at the very heart of it, it is a war movie. And that brings me to a very big point here. There is a pitch battle scene in this movie that involves Mulan, and I think the directing in that scene was particularly atrocious. It was basically non-existent in that scene. And the problem here is that scene is the most pivotal scene in the movie. It's a defining moment for Mulan. And my problem with that scene is not just the directing, but also the tactical and strategic aspect of that scene. A lot of it didn't make any sense. I know this is a fantasy movie, but from a film perspective, a lot of it didn't make much sense. That scene kind of highlights the problems with this movie, and it's the directing. A lot of the movie does not flow very well, and a lot of the characters, they do things without much motivation. So I think the motivations of the characters could have been drawn out a lot more than what they showed in this movie. And the movie is already 2 hours. I think if they added another, 30, 40 minutes, they probably could have developed this movie a bit better. So yeah, I would say the biggest problem with this movie is the directing. That'll take me into the positives of this movie. Now, I think, obviously the costumes are great. The musical score is fantastic. If you watch the credits, you do hear reflections played in English and Chinese. And especially, I want to say this, the reason why I would recommend this movie, despite my problems with the directing, is the Mulan actress herself, Liu Yifei. She is fantastic. She is the perfect embodiment of Mulan, in my opinion. I think they could have developed her character a little bit better, but she herself, she did flawlessly as Mulan. And that brings me to another character, and that's Jason Scott Lee, who plays the villain in this movie. And you've seen him in other Disney movies, like the Jungle Book. He played Mowgli. But it was cool to see this guy in a more serious villain role, because I've never seen him play a villain before. I might be mistaken, but I see him as this really lighthearted person who occasionally plays a martial artist on screen. But he was very intense as the bad guy, and he didn't have much screen time, but the times that he was on screen, he made the most out of it. He was great as a villain, and man, he's still in great shape. Wow. Some other good things. They did put out some homages to the cartoon, like with like some of the names and some of the things that they were saying. So there was that. But yeah, the musical score was fantastic. But honestly, the movie itself, it was a mess. Like especially that one battle, the pitch battle scene, which plays a huge part in this movie. That was a total mess. But I'm still gonna recommend this movie, just to see Liu Yifei as Mulan. She is superb. I just think the movie that she came in is a big mess. So yeah, I did pay $30 for this movie. I would still recommend this movie if you are a huge fan of Mulan, or if you're just a huge fan of Disney in general. Just know that you're going to get a much different type of movie. You are going to get a war movie. You're going to get a bit of a slower film to watch. But I think in the end, you are rewarded with some great moments. I just think overall the story of Mulan deserved a little bit better than a fantastic effort. I think the story of Mulan needed more of a perfect live adaptation. So that's my 2 cents on this movie. I'm still gonna watch this movie again just to see if my opinions of this movie changes with a second viewing. But as of now, I am disappointed with this movie, which is sad to say because most of the Disney live action movies I've seen, they have improved the story of its animated predecessor. In this case, I feel like the live action, or I feel like the animated feature might have done a better job telling the story. But this is no knock against live action Disney movies because most of the time they are fantastic. This time I was disappointed. But I will recommend this movie just for you Disney fans.